Donnie on the boards. Jaleese is going to be here momentarily. And boy, do I have a story for you. So for those of you who are not entirely tapped into the 4 hours or so that we did on the No Jumper show last night, had a very nice podcast. At one point, King Pill, let's just describe King Pill's mannerisms throughout this podcast. He was allegedly high and on shrooms. So that certainly was a different version of King Pill than we've ever gotten before. And
very appropriate timing, let's be real.
What are you adding that to the story or something?
Nah, literally, as I just posted it on fucking No Jumper, I guess the last video uploaded is a King Pill video where he got the down drop.
Because he knows that we're talking about him right now. What'd he say? I gotta see what he said. Okay, so what? He posted a reel.
I need gas money, but I don't get paid till next week. What should I do?
Don't even stress about it. Just download the Earn It app to get paid early.
Adam almost got effed over. Cheap prick. Wow, this guy is such a lunatic. All right, well, anyway, we're going to get into this. So basically, King Bill was not his usual self. He was a very fun version of himself the first two times that we had him on the podcast. This time he came on the podcast. It was weird. He was quiet. He said he was on mushrooms. He was just silent, sitting in this chair, whatever. As the podcast goes, and he's being annoying, too, because he was saying how he didn't like the topics. And I'm kind of like, that might be like the most inaccurate thing you could possibly say in that moment, because the topics were actually fire. We had really, really, really good topics. Obviously, a lot of tragedies, but we had very, very important things to discuss. And so he's complaining about the topics. It's kind of weird. And so one topic that just popped into my head, and people on the Reddit and everything are trying to frame this as if I was like really trying to set up an Aunt Hefe King Pill beef, which is not actually my intent there. Hello, Julius. How you doing? That was not really my intent, but I asked and I mentioned, King Pill, you censored some of the disses out of your song. Now I'm going to give you guys the backstory on that. Is that when I was in New York, I was with Hit a J3, Bombed a Juno, King Pill, and the conversation happened while we were all driving around an SUV together that maybe King Pill should consider censoring out some of the swear words from his, or not swear words, but gang disses from his songs, because in particular, there was one diss that could very much be perceived as a diss towards the 8 Trays. However, where King Pill is from, that same diss refers to another hood. Now, keep in mind, Aunt Hefe from 8 Tray Gangsta Crip. When I said that he censored out the swears, I didn't mention who, not swears, but gang disses. When I said that, I didn't mention who might be offended. I didn't mention what it was, but very quickly, the Aunt Hefe energy changed. And there's a clip, it's on the No Jumper Instagram, in which you could see Aunt Hefe kind of turning up, not being super disrespectful to King Pill, but making it clear that he don't mess with that's not cool, etc. Everybody saw it, and then it got very, very, very awkward sitting on this couch, because you have King Pill reading the chat. You have Aunt Hefe reading the chat. They're both facing directly towards the chat and are 100% paying attention to it, reading it, and the chat is going off on King Pill. You ducked it. You tucked your shit. You's a bitch. You's a pussy. You just ranked it. Like, etc. You just, everybody going in on King Pill, basically clowning him. A few, maybe 5% acting like Aunt Hefe kind of a bully or whatever. But the overwhelming narrative was, King Pill, you just tucked your dick between your legs. Anyway, we come to the end of the podcast. And I even noticed Aunt Hefe kind of trying to like be a little cool to King Pill after that, like kind of saying like a few things to him. But for the most part, they didn't really interact. For the rest of the podcast, and King Pill went silent. He barely said a word for the entire rest of the podcast.
Ed did try to be chill, though. There's a couple times he would like respond to what he said in a chill way.
And to be fair, I kind of feel like we saw a little bit of a different version of Aunt Hefe yesterday, because of the fact that he came in no lean, notably, just got in a car accident, or just got a flat tire in his car. And it just felt like we were kind of feeling like a degree of aggression from Aunt Hefe that we hadn't really seen. Like, even when him and Munchie got into like a weird argument about like who's the most violent race, or if black people are bad for each other in society or some shit like that. Like the level that relatively simple argument got to was like kind of intense. Like it kind of ratcheted up the aggression to a degree that I wasn't really expecting. Either
I
way,
felt dumb for even like responding to it.
yeah, that got kind of intense too. Either way, podcast ends, and I think everybody's thinking in the back of their head, we got to get these guys out of here in a timely fashion and in a way where nobody has any interaction, whatever. So what's up? So we finish up stuff here. We go out there. As I walk out there, I see that Aunt Hefe is already kind of dipping and that Munchie's like damn near out the door. And the Pomona boys and King Pill are the only ones left, right? No big deal. I'm like, okay, cool. They got out smoothly. That's good. I go. I'm hungry as hell. Start heating up my meal in the microwave. As I'm heating up the meal in the microwave, King Pill comes over to me and he says, yo, what's up with the money for the episode? Because I had actually told King Pill, I was like, listen, like, I want to try you out consistently on the Tuesday show. He said, all right, but bro, I'm broke, so I need money. Like, you know, are you going to be able to pay me? I said, okay, cool. We'll be able to give you a little bit of money for appearing on here or whatever. Is the music seriously that loud? What the fuck is wrong with these girls? Just so you guys know, it's a plug talk day. We got to make sure that door stays closed. This is insane. But anyway, so
Calvin Harris DJing in the next room.
yeah, shout out to Calvin Harris. God damn, I really just wanted to get through the story of these pieces of shit. Oh, they closed the whatever. Anyway, so King Pill starts coming over to me, talking to me about this $200 or whatever the fuck it was. He's saying, yo, like, can you send me that money right now? I said, yeah, you know the group chat that I put you in with Josh? Just text that, and Josh will send it to you by the end of the night. He goes, by the end of the night? He's like, I'm trying to get paid right now. I need that money to get home. And I'm like, you realize that like a lot of people who work here, you know, you get paid like every 2 weeks, every month, whatever, at the end of the week, et cetera. I'm like, it's not like, why are you acting like it's just like the most obvious thing in the world that you're supposed to be getting paid instantly as soon as you finish the podcast? Like, you got to chill. Like, the idea is that you're supposed to be on here consistently, you know, and it's like, why are you putting pressure on me to pay you instantly as soon as, you know, it just like struck me as a very weird thing. But his energy is weird. He's walking towards me. He's like really like kind of getting close to me and stuff. Pull up the No Jumper Instagram. We're gonna start reviewing the footage of what actually happened in the office right here because, yeah. It's very.
Me and Donnie were both there too, so
Yeah, so I do have some people who can attest to the way that this whole situation went down. All right, let's pull up this video. Here we go. King Pill tries to fight Adam 22 after their podcast. Now, there's no audio here, but we're going to be able to see the body
I mean, you can see it
mannerisms.
from that first pick. Look at the body language in the first pick. Looks
Yeah,
very-
okay, so let's press play.
You went on screen, right?
Yeah, obviously. So you see me to the left, and that's King Pill wearing the army fatigues. We love a man in uniform.
Yeah.
And so he's kind of pressing me right now. He's saying, like, you know what, can you send it right now? I said, Josh can send it. He goes, can you make him send it right now? I'm like, if you want, you could call him. He goes, why can't you call him? He's like, it's your business. You could call him. He's like, just pressing me about like the dumbest shit possible right now. And those are all his boys.
You see how Shorty had tried to reach out and like grab his hand and tell him to chill too, really subtly.
Yeah. And so, okay, I'm like grabbing my food out of the microwave right now, slightly off camera. And you'll see that I start to walk kind of across the office. You're going to see this in just 1 second. He's still talking to me in a rather aggressive way at this point. It's like slowly ratcheting up. And this is me walking away and being like, bro, you need to chill. Like, Josh will get it to you, whatever. Okay, go to the next one. And like you can see, he's kind of like in my face now, right? Look at the way he's walking towards me. Look at the body language. Look how he's like, and then look he just bumped into me, and then I kind of like push him away. And then his boys jump in here. They're pulling him away. They're separating him. So what's he do? He pulls out his phone, typical internet thug, pulls out his phone, starts filming. I'm sure he's going to drop this footage at some point. He starts calling me the F slur, starts acting like I'm a bitch. The reason why I'm in the cubicle now is because I was looking for a lighter, and I was actually grabbing one off of Mikey's desk. So I'm trying to light a spliff right now, and King Pill trying to film a skit. He's trying to act like real angry. He's mad. But his boys are the ones standing in between him. Now look what he does here.
Fire.
He knocks the balls off, and he's still talking shit on the way out. And his boys go, shout out to his boys, honestly. The rest of the dudes from Pomona, we got to give it to them that they immediately shut the situation down, because you got to understand, the 22-ster keep that fire on him. So when King Pill is doing all this, I'm starting to do the math in my head, and I start thinking, okay, so what's the line that needs to be crossed here in order for the 22-ster to up blick on Kuh? Now, in my head, what I established almost immediately was like, if he punches me, I'm pulling out and I'm going to start shooting at him. Okay? That's what's going on in my head. It's like, that's the line that needs to be crossed.
Ready to take it there with him.
Him just standing close to me is not enough for me to turn this into this kind of situation, right? But either way, like it ended so quickly, and his homies seemed like they were the ones that really like were more even tempered. And I mean, his homies really, and like Lush can probably attest to this because he actually went to the neighborhood, but basically like you could tell that they appreciate the fact that they're even at No Jumper, because let's be real, if you're from Pomona, it's an hour away. You're not really necessarily used to like going to places like No Jumper or whatever. And they're looking at King Pill like, okay, he's the dude that's kind of getting our foot in the door to kind of be doing more music stuff, more industry stuff, more internet stuff. And so I think in that moment, his boys are kind of viewing this like, oh, he's about to screw up all the motion that we've kind of got going at this point in terms of the hood vlog, King Pill being in New York. Keep in mind, yes, I did 2 interviews with King Pill. I was also in New York staying in the same hotel with him for like 3-4 days, right?
So you consider him a friend to a degree.
I felt like we had the kind of relationship that was actually legit. He's asking me for advice. He's asking me what I should do, what he should do in his career. He's asking me what, kind of moves he should make. He's telling me, yo, I'm thinking about moving back to the California area. I'm thinking about, if I move out there, do you think that we'll be able to consistently do content on No Jumper? And I'm telling them, like, yes, bro, like, I actually kind of believe in you. I think that you have potential maybe as a podcaster or whatever. Now, after the Tuesday show, I was very let down, and I was very much thinking like, oh, I'm tweaking. Like, I'm crazy because he sucked yesterday. Like, he just didn't say shit. He was just sitting there quietly. It was terrible. So I'm already kind of checking myself in my head of like, oh yeah, that ain't gonna work, because he showed up like the worst version of himself possible. He wasn't funny. He wasn't charming. He wasn't interesting. It was just boring. And then he gets marked out by Aunt Hefe, quote unquote marked out. Some people could view that as being not a mark out and actually more of just like a check-in. But it was something.
A stern talking to.
It was a stern talking to for sure. Anyway, the crazy thing about it is that the thing that he decided to use to turn up on me was just so illogical in nature, because I've never had anybody expect that they were going to get paid like 5 minutes after the podcast ended. And when I tell them like, oh, it might take like an hour for him to get back to you, that you trip out like that and start damn near thinking about assaulting me. Like that to me was just so mind-blowing. And obviously anybody with half a brain could probably figure out how I feel about this, which is that I now no longer fuck with King Pill in any way, shape, or form. I have to admit, Flacco has been in the group chat telling us over and over and over, this guy is a J-Cat. He's a piece of shit. He's a clout chaser. Really, I should have listened to 4 Extra too. Said he was a smoker. Said he was a weirdo. Here we are. 4 Extra, I may have been wrong. Flacco, I got to admit that you were right about a lot of stuff, and I hate that. I hate having to admit.
Flacco being right.
Flacco being right is probably the worst thing that I could ever imagine. But that is, in fact, how this went down. And honestly, I think it was probably the first time that any rapper, person that we had on the podcast, etc., had ever tried to like do anything physical towards me in any kind of way, shape, or form. Now, when you watch the clip, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are probably going to rewatch this, you can tell that King Pill really like wasn't doing anything until his boys got between him. You know, like
Well, that's when he brought out his camera and stuff.
that's when his camera comes out, and that's when it becomes the kind of thing of like, oh, like hold me back. I don't want to. Oh yeah, hold me back. I'm gonna do something to him. Like he didn't have that energy. He was just kind of standing close to me until his homies start jumping in between him, and then all of a sudden he's Hulk Hogan. Now I guess I'll turn it to Donnie and Lush, who are both there. What was this like for you witnessing this insane situation?
Well, first of all, shouts to the dudes from 456 that were there because I really feel like they recognized very quickly what time it was and the fact that they like it could have been a different dynamic if they would have just backed his play. You know what I mean? There's other people like a 4Extras, for example. I feel like if 4Extras friends saw him getting mad, I don't know if they would want to come. They might be like, we're all tripping now.
You kind of got the vibe that this was not the first time that this ever happened, that they're sort of used to having to.
You've dreamed up some delicious